Good morning and a very warm welcome back to the first round of the Asia F1 FIM Asia Road Racing Championship. Yesterday we had the qualifyings and race 1, and we had some amazing racing going on. We had the huge battle in the ASB 1000, and a good battle here in the TBS Asia 1 make as well, including the heartbreak for the likes of Muzakir Muhammad, who was leading into the last lap with a slight gap up until the point where his bike had a bit of a technical failure. He did bring it home, however, for a 5th place finish. Warpon Malahwan winning the race, Piawan Patumios coming a close 2nd, and in 3rd was Tayo Saito. Herwin Chang from the Philippines, however, also performed very well, managed to finish 4th in the list after having gone through qualifying 1A into 1B. And the top 4 finish is a very well-deserved fight. Currently local time it is 8:43 a.m. and already the heat has started to kick up. It's now 29 degrees Celsius around. We're expecting the temperatures to soar higher. Yesterday we saw the ambient temperatures around 37 degrees and the track temperatures were right about 59 degrees Celsius. So very tricky on most of the categories. They'll need to manage the tires in the races later on in race 2, as we expect the temperatures to be more or less similar, if not hotter than yesterday. And now we're having a look at Darren Pop Dongyoi and Tayo Saito. Tayo Saito, as mentioned, 3rd place, good finish yesterday in the race 1. Darren Pop finished in 9th, not too far back, about 7 seconds off the lead finish of Vorapong. Definitely a lot of talented names in this grid. We also have Muhammad Ramdan Rosli, who started very well, led for a portion of the race until one point where his bike gave way and resulted in a DNF. And now we can see the different plots of riders here and there. We have 2 riders riding together. One of those, of course, is Arshad Rushdi, who had an unfortunate finish yesterday. It's just not kicked off the way he would have hoped for it this season. Arshad, of course, last year impressing us towards the middle of the championship. Unfortunate because everything changes every round in racing. It was a very hard-fought season for Arshad. We'll be looking to come back stronger in race 2. But now we're following Muhammad Muzakir, one of the riders who has impressed us so much already this week. It's truly unfortunate what happened to him. Just a technical error with the bike. Mechanical failure somewhere. We remember correctly reading it, he said that it was something due to the air intake. And Muzakir is back here, and right now he's the fastest on track, ahead of Vorapong Malahwan by just over a second. So Muhammad Muzakir looking really strong already this morning. He'll definitely be looking for redemption. It's one of those like never goes off without a fight. Definitely expect fireworks to happen later on in the race. Now we're looking back at these 2. In front there, you can see Muzakir going on the inside. And there's Dekitiano Deki, another very fast rider in this category. Had a decent finish in the last race, Deki, 8th place. We know Deki is definitely capable of getting the victory, if not at least on the podium. I'm expecting to have a really good fight into the front group. It's all about latching yourself onto the front group in this category. It is a one-make race, so the bikes are all the same. So if you're able to keep up with the front two or three, depending on how many are in the front group, you should be able to fight for the podium all the way till the end. The second you lose that group, that's when things start to unfold and you start getting that gap between yourself and the podium positions. But that is truly what makes this category that much more interesting. Now there on screen as well is Piawa Potumios, a young Thai rider, young Thai talent. We had him in the AP 250 last season. He was impressive. And right now in the TVS Asia 1 Make as well, he's been very, very impressive. In qualifying, he was fastest. Race as well, doing not too bad at all, finishing second just behind Vorapong. Now Ramdan Rosli, he goes up to the top at 150.051. And splitting the two Malaysians is Piawat Potumios. Looks like the likes of Muhammad Muzakir and Ramdan Rosli riding together. Trying to figure out where Piawat is on track, whether he's at the back of this group a bit. Now there's Fugo Tanaka at the front. Turn 3 is always a big talking point. A lot of different lines that can be taken into turn 3 and even the exit. It's very different. Those who prefer to let it roll in through faster, making it a much faster rolling corner. But some would like to make it into almost a V shape, taking the late apex and prioritizing getting on the gas early. Of course, more apparent when you look at the 600 class and the 1000 class. I must say, what's really impressive is the top speeds coming from these TVS Apache machines. The 206 kilometers per hour recorded. We have a 210.8 as well from Jagan Kumar. There used to be a question mark of whether these bikes were just as fast, if not faster, than the AP250 class, but now with the improvements that they've made, it has come to a point where the lap times and the top speeds are faster than the AP250s. It truly is such an impressive project. Of course, led by the race winner yesterday, Vorapong Malawan, as well as the defending champion in this category. With that all said and done, the checker flag has come out. So now we still have the majority of the riders on screen making it past before the checker flag came. Also, I want to mention Ramdan Rosli, a 149.936, a very, very strong time coming in early from Ramdan. Maybe looking to make amends for yesterday as well. So a lot of hungry talents in the TVS Asia 1 Make. Follow them down straight after turn 3 into turn 4. Jagan Kumar looks like a man on a mission. Fugo Tanaka trying to keep up with the likes. Behind them they have Darren Pop, one of the Thai riders in this championship. They run double left before the flip on the right now. Yesterday we saw in the ASB Thousands, this was a very favorite corner of the likes of Haruki. Haruki doing an overtake there, I think, well over 5 times in the course of the race, right at that corner. Now following the timings of Fugo Tanaka there on screen in front of him, Jagan Kumar. A little bit further back is Karan Ains Chan, very impressive Filipino rider. Looking at the second times, I don't think there's going to be any changes in timing. Looks like the only rider on a fast lap is Fugo Tanaka, and actually the likes of Kewa Ahmed as well. So yeah, some improvements in timing, but no positions changed. By the looks of it, this is how the warm-up will end. Ramdan Rosli topping the warm-up session. Piawat Potumios in close second. Muhammad Zakir in third. A race winner Vorapong, who only came up for 4 laps. 1.6 seconds down, so maybe Vorpang just saving a bit of energy. But as of right now, this is what if the time here is any reflection to the race later on. It looks like Vorpang's really got his work cut out for him. For now, these are the results of the TVS Asia One-Make Championship. Fastest is Ramdan Rosli, Piawat Patumyos in second, Muhammad Muzakir in third, Vorpang Malawan fourth, Deki Tiano fifth, Jatin Kumar in sixth, Kerwin Ains Chang in seventh, Asha Rushdi eighth. Coming in ninth is Fugo Tanaka, 10th Taiyo Saito, 11th KY Ahmed, 12th Darren Pop Tongyoy, 13th is Luis Abelhard, and without any time not competing in this session is Deepak Ravi Kumar. So we'll head for a short break and we will be right back after this with the Underbone 150 warm-up session. Welcome back again to the action of the morning. Well, it's a bit of a calmer action, of course. It's just the warm-ups. We had the TBS Asia 1-8 Championship warm-up session right after the Honda Talent Cup warm-up earlier this morning. Now on screen with this is the Underbone 150 class. After this we'll have the AP 250, the Super Sport 600, and the Asia Superbike 1000 warm-up sessions. Right after that will come the Honda Talent Cup Race 2. Before we'll head to a short break, and then we'll have the pit walk, which is always going to be exciting. Close-up and personal experience with the riders down a pit lane. And after that, we'll continue with the races for Race 2, the TBS Asia Underbone 150, AP 250, Super Sport 600. And we will conclude this round with the ASB 1000 class. Temperatures right now should be right about 30 degrees Celsius. It's been a very warm weekend here in Buriram. Well, warm's not understatement, more towards the level of hot. We've been nearly touching 40 degrees Celsius all week. It definitely has been a challenge for the riders and the bikes alike to keep up through the heat. Yesterday's race saw a very new name in this championship. But definitely one to look out for. Shafiq Russell taking the victory, just 0.012 seconds. It was truly a photo finish. 0.012 seconds down. And second was Haziq Fairuz. Completing the podium was Wawan Wello, 0.058 seconds behind Shafiq Russell. Ahmad Fazi Shan, the popular rider in this category, he finished in fourth, 0.229 seconds down. Nazrul Izzat also 0.2 seconds down in fifth. Akadazit 0.3 seconds down in sixth. The poleman from Surapol, Hafiza Rofa, just missing out on the podium, is just 0.4 seconds behind. But that's how wild this Underbone 50 category really can get. Right now on the screen we're following two Filipinos and two of the Malaysian riders. April King Mascado, Giancarlo Mauricio, Nazrul Izzat, and Haziq Fairuz. Now, April King didn't have a bad race either. April King just finished 0.3 seconds off the top spot. He was well within the front group, and it was looking a much better race for April in comparison to his practice sessions. Akid Aziz as well joining this group, now 6 riders. Ready from Izzat Zaidi, we have a 201.7, so that's looking like actually a very good lap time already from the likes of Izzat. Race pace we saw was about 201, 202. We've seen the lower 2-minute timings from the likes of such as Hafiza Rofa. Is just taking the top now at 201.668. Looking at the action from turn 3 into that long straight right before the left-hander of turn 4. Let's see Akadazis there just finding his way around the track. April as well, just look behind him. This section of the track is honestly one of the most exciting sections. You have the triple left-hander before the flip to the right. Small run down to another right corner, and then you'll head to that final chicane before the final turn. This is such exciting racing that we're going to get. We saw in yesterday's races how close the battles were. As Barry mentioned yesterday, the gaps are way too thin. It's really the tight group that we imagined. But for now in this morning session, it looks like Wahyu Haji, he's a bit down the order. He's about 9th, 2.3 seconds off the top. That's a time set by Hafiza Rofa, but Wahyu is on a very fast lap coming up. Very good second sector from Wahyu Haji Trilaksana. Yesterday's race, Wahyu as well, he was with the front of the group. He's 0.5 seconds off. 8th position, right in front of April King. Right now, there we go at the top. Hafiza Rofa, 201.668. Across the line now, there should be some shifts in position. Wayaji, so not a great third sector from Wayaji. Goes up to 6th. You don't really expect the times to be that high in the morning session. It is just the warm-up. It's just the final for the bike and the rider. Perhaps some of them might try a slightly different setup just to see how it fares in the warm-up. Of course, the conditions are going to be very different between now and the race later on. The Underbones will be racing at 1:15 later on in the afternoon. So the temperatures are expected to be soaring. So a setup now will definitely behave differently later on in the heat. And one of the Honda Vietnam riders as well. Honda Vietnam really making some good improvements this weekend when you compare to 2022. They really struggled to get into the point scoring positions, but they're looking great this round. And expected to keep improving throughout the season. So just over 1.5 minutes left in this session. At the back there you can see a couple of TKKR bikes. I believe the front, that's Hafiza Rofa, and a bit further behind that might be the likes of Ahmad Fazli Sham. I was about to mention his brother Ahmad Fazrul Sham because we saw he had a bit of struggles yesterday. It looks like the worries continue for Fazrul as he has only completed 1 lap, while everyone else has already started their 3rd lap. So you do wonder whether it's bike issues once again for one of the familiar names here. Coming down here, you can see Gupita Kresna as well involved in this. Hazik Hamdan at the top, sorry, at the front. Wayne Antoine is one of the riders involved in this group. 204 from all of them here. There's some riders who shot up the ranks. Shamro Shazras, he's gone up into 8th position at 202.313. Now following them into turn 3. One of the riders which I haven't seen shoot up the order. It's like Ahmad Fazli Sham, and he has gone up into 6th now. 202.029 is his fastest time. But it's looking really good from the 1SOX garage. Even in warm-ups we have Hafiza in 1st, Shafiq in 4th, Fazli Sham in 6th. So it's really looking good for them. And even in the 1000s and the 600s, it's been a very good job done from the team and the riders. But now we're following them through the final sector. The checker flag is out, so when they come across, they will conclude the Underbone 150 session. Now we've got this onboard camera shot. I believe this should be on the bike of Wahyu Ajitri Laksana. You get a really good view of how the riders look flowing through the corners there. Very nice flowy bit, fast flowy bit, and it looks like Wahyu and co will be heading to pit lane. A lot of the other riders are still finishing their lap. Let's say Shafiq Russell, he wants to go out for another lap, but he's going to realize now when he comes around the final turn that the checker flag is out and there is no more time for another lap in the session. And looking at the timing screens, no one has improved or shut up any position. That said, this will be the conclusion for the Underbone 150 warm-up session. A very warm Buriram indeed. So these are the results for the Underbone 150 warm-up session. Fastest is Hafiza Rofa once again. Izzat Zaidi in second, Izam Iqmal in third. Shafiq Rasul, the race winner yesterday, he's in fourth. Wawanwelo fifth. Amafazi Sham sixth. Wahyu Aji Trilaksana seventh. Sharwal Shazras in eighth. Coming in ninth is Akid Aziz 10th. Pacharagon Togadlung. Ibrahim Moscato in 11th. Pascon San Luang 12th. 13th is Hazik Hamdan. 14th Nazrul Izzat. 15th Hazik Farius. Sixteenth is John Emerson Ingrito. 17th Giancarlo Mauricio. 18th is Murabil Vitoni. 19th Dimas Julie Admoko. 20th Gupita Kresna. 21st Nguyen Antoine. Reynaldi Pradana in 22nd. 23rd is Nguyen Hu Tri, and without setting time in 24th is Ahmad Fazrul Sham. So don't go anywhere, we'll be right back after this with more action from the AP250 class and the Squid Sport 600. We'll be joining Barry Russell right after this.
Welcome back to Sunday and race 2 this afternoon coming up here at Chang International Circuit, where we are live for the AP250 warm-up session for round 1 of the Idemitsu FIM Asia Road Racing Championship. I'm Barry Russell and I'll be with you for this and the following session. If you've been with us during the 3 days of this race weekend, the weather and the skies will look very familiar to you. It's already in excess of 30 degrees, 9:22 local time. And we saw some real dramas in the race. The big story here in the AP250s is that how can the rest of the field stop the Astra Hondas? They locked out the grid in qualifying yesterday morning. They locked out the podium in race 1 yesterday afternoon, despite the sterling efforts of the competitors, particularly Thai competitors, as it happens. So just running down what happened yesterday in the race, if you didn't see it. Reza Danica Arens got away nicely from the start. It really was a lights to flag performance from him. Absolutely faultless. That was Reza Danica Arens at his best. Behind him there was plenty of spice in the battles between his teammates Veda Ega Pratama, Erjanat Fardos, and the Thai Honda AP250 riders. So Veda Ega got involved in a tussle with Tanat Leong early in the race, and later Mukhladar Sarapuch and Erjan Firdaus, you can see on the screen there, running together peacefully at the moment. And a couple of elbowy moments, including on the last corner, because by the time we got to the last corner, Reza Danica had got well clear at first. Veda Ega Pratama had got away from the rest by about 5 or 6 seconds, and so the battle for the podium ended up being between Erjan, Mukhladar, and also Irfan Ardiancia was in the mix there. More of him a little later. That's Mukhladar on your screen there, going into turn 12. What will be their second flying lap. So that's Mukhladar there. She's being followed by the number 20, Jakrapat Putisan. So a real fighting performance from Jakrapat yesterday too. So in the Honda garage, we've got the vastly experienced and highly regarded Mukhladar Sarapuch coming back to the series, which is great to see, and she's joined by 2 new talents coming through the Thai Honda talent system. That's Jakrapat Putisan and Tanat Leong Pliao. All 3 of those riders performing extremely well. And a former Thai Honda rider also performed really well in the form of Warit Tom. I'm going to take my time here during warm-up. This is my turn to warm up. Tom Nokbakun Warit. Warit was the only privateer amongst the factory-supported teams of Motor Sniper, the Kawasaki's, and the Hondas from Thailand and Indonesia. Warit riding for the Thai team, EST NJT, former protege of Honda Thailand, and he performed really well, finishing just 8.2 seconds off the winner, Reza Danica, in 6th position, and indeed ahead of Jakrapat. So some good performances there. I mentioned Irfan Ardiancia. We saw him in 600s. He was quick in 600s last year. He's come back to 250s. We know his caliber there. He was a championship contender throughout the 2019 season. now he's back with different CCs, different team and different manufacturer, and he's had a really good start to his the second chapter of his AP250 career. That is Jakrapat, that is Irfan on the Kawasaki green machine with the pink helmet. Number 16, easy to spot. So green bike, pink helmet, number 16. That's Irfan Ardiancia, and expect to see him among the leading contenders throughout this season. And all of those 4 that are being named on your screen there, there's 3 established, Irfan, Muqtada and Reza Danica. Established contenders. Jakrapat has come in really well, and although he finished down in 7th yesterday, he wasn't that far off and was really pushing at the front for much of the race. So expect him to develop during the course of the season, as will his teammate Tanat Leon Pliao. The other thing, while we're watching these bikes go around, new for this season, is that they're running on slicks that have been developed for 2023 by Dunlop, the tyre supplier for the Asia Road Racing Championship. So they're running on slicks. The riders are lapping quicker than they were before, around about a second or a second and a half on average, and talking about the better grip that they're getting and the better performance during the race. So not so much degradation as with the hybrid road race tyres that they were using previously. And you see them now going through turn 3. If you're familiar with this circuit, turn 3 is the point at which the bikes slow down after a very fast run up, and then accelerate again for a very fast run down to turn 4, where you can see Jakrapat, number 20, tipping in there now. They are virtually flat out through here. It's Irfan, number 16, going past him. So pretty decent times here in this warm-up session. As the checkered flag comes out, it is only a 10-minute session, so any new brake pads have been bedded in, any small changes for the race will have been tested by these riders, but the times are pretty decent. 151.118, that's a decent race pace going on yesterday. The fastest lap we saw was from Reza Danica. Just double check that. Yeah, it was Reza Danica with a 151.006, so 151 dead. Anybody getting anywhere close to that or within half a second of it has got decent race pace. Number 36 going through there, that's Ferozi Torakatullah. It seems like the Yamahas are disadvantaged when it comes to power. They've got 2 really good riders on them. But they finished down the order, just taking a look here. Torakatullah finished in 13th, and his teammate Wahyu Nugroho finished 12th, and they were 23 seconds back from Reza Danica. So that brings us to the end of that short warm-up session for the AP250s. Looking at other performances down here. Setiraji finished in 13th, the Indian rider with Honda India last season, finished 13th this time around. Let's just check out the results here. What a surprise. Reza Danica RN's 151.118 finished fastest, and behind him Vida Ega Pratama, and third Irfan Ardiancia, putting himself, the new rider for Motul Sniper, into third. Muqtada Sarapech fourth. Fifth, of teammate Jakrapat Putisan. 6th, Aiki Aoshi. Good warm-up performance from him. Idlan Hakimi for Bunsu Honda was 7th, and Irfan Haikal, also for Bunsu Honda, in 8th. 9th, Ferozi Torakatula with 152.6 on the Yamaha. Tanat Leong Pliao for Honda Racing Thailand was 10th. 11th, Warret. 12th, Wayu Nugroho. 13th, Seto Rajiv. 14th, Wacharin Tuptimon, who's moved here from the TVS One Make Series, and Kevin Samar Quintal for Honda Racing India, one of the new riders in there, in 15th. 16th, Haruki Noguchi's teammate in 250s, STG MS Hark Pro's Chihiro Ishii. 17th, Liu Chunmei, also for Moto Sniper. Mohsin Paramban, another new Indian rider, and Nguyen Duc Tan, 19th. 20th, Cal Vietnam. 21st, Lee Ruiyun, and 22nd, Hurjan Atnaf Firdaus, who I don't think appeared in that session, but the rider who finished 3rd in yesterday's race. So no time for him. So we're going to take a short break in these warm-up sessions. Next up will be a 15-minute session for the Supersport 600s. So stay with us and join us for that. There is plenty to recap from yesterday's race 1. We'll be back in just about 7 minutes from now. Welcome back to all our friends joining us on YouTube and Facebook for the live coverage of warm-up on Sunday morning here at Chang International Circuit, where of course we are for round 1 of the Idemitsu FIM Asia Road Racing Championship. The bikes just coming out on track now are the Supersport 600s, and as those guys go out on their out laps, a couple of things to point out. The first is that in about an hour and a half from now there will be a pit walk at the circuit. There's a kind of a festival atmosphere always on ARRC Sundays wherever we are in the region, but none more so or none less so than at Chang International. It's an opportunity for fans to come in and meet the riders. All the riders are out, they're all in festive, happy mood. They love to see the fans, they love to meet them, have selfies taken with them. Lots of giveaways, stickers, flags, hats, even t-shirts from time to time. So it's a really good opportunity to meet some of the riders and some of the people you hear but don't see, like the 3 commentators here, myself, Barry Russell, Des Corkill and Daniel Bogers. We will be out there as well. So do come along if you're anywhere near the area. Enjoy the pit walk and then enjoy a cracking afternoon's racing. The other thing to say is that I was pleased to see that we are now we've now got TV coverage in China. We have a Chinese rider in this class who's been progressing nicely during the last few days, Xiaojun Tong. He's with Victor Racing MLT Yamaha, and it's good to have a Chinese racer in this Supersport 600 class. The main story for 600s has been the return of the Kip, Kyril Idampawi, who came back to Supersport 600s to ARRC last year with a few injury problems to sort out. He scored a couple of podiums during last season, but generally didn't quite live up to expectations. However, from the official test, which was earlier this week on Tuesday and Wednesday, he topped all sessions, all combined sessions, and he topped all combined sessions on Friday in official free practice for this race. He took pole position in dramatic style because he spent most of the qualifying session in the pits with an oil leak, but came out somehow to clock a 1:39 dead to take pole position. And yesterday he won the race indeed. So a dramatic return to form for Kyril Idampawi. He's of course riding for Bunsu Honda alongside Helmi Asman, who only lost this championship last year on a countback. It was taken by Andy Farid Izdihar, who we'll be seeing later in ASB 1000. And Azroy Hakim Anwar, the always rapid Azroy, who crashed out of the race yesterday, which is a pretty unusual thing for Azroy, but he didn't make the finishing line. But Helmi came through in 3rd in what was a really nice, intriguing, tight race. Kyril Idampawi was chased and hounded all the way by Nakarin Tirapuvapat. That is Xiaojun Tong, you can see on your screen there, just going past the SCB bank signs and stopping for a bit of assistance with the marshals. That's Xiaojun Tong, the Chinese rider I mentioned a few moments ago. So that R6, clearly some kind of problem there. But the rider's fine, I don't think the bike's been down. But here is Kyril Idampawi, being shadowed there by Azroy Hakim Anwar. who will certainly be looking for a better result. That's Khalid and Powie. Kip to make it easier. Followed by Azroy, the number 20. And sure enough, because we often see these three out together, the bike behind him with the big yellow number is none other than Helmi Azman, who took third place yesterday. So the finishing order yesterday was Khalid and Powie, Nakarin Atirapuvapat and Helmi Azman. Good race yesterday also for Kito Abe, we haven't seen yet. Those are the Gen Blue Hondas just going through there. Okay, so that's Adinanta Putra, number 21, and we just switched to 41, Nakarin Atirapuvapat. Great race from him yesterday. Couldn't quite sustain a pass and stay in front of Karol Idem-Powie, but a really good race for him yesterday. Fastest lap of the race was 39.789, which went to the race winner. But there is Nakarin, finished third in last year's championships due to consistent finishing, which included 2 trips to the podium and a whole hatful of P4s. This year looking for more. He's begun with the 2nd place, which equals his best result in this category so far. And of course he'll be looking to improve that and make it to the top of the podium at his home race. However, he enjoyed the race yesterday. It was a really good battle with Karol Idem-Powie. And we just saw there on the Gen Blue machine, that's kind of fairly light blue, number 50 there. That's Afif Amram, who has stepped up from underbones. Perhaps you should say leapfrogged up from underbones, because he didn't stop for the AP250s. So he's finding his way on these much bigger machines, and he's chasing Kito Abe, the 1XOX TKKR Yamaha rider, who joined the series at his home race in Sugo, Japan last year. So he did 3 rounds of arrc. His best result was in Japan. He faded a little after that, but yesterday and in qualifying indeed put in a good performance. He was 4th yesterday, 3.6 seconds behind the winner. The first 3 all finished within 0.4 of a second. And there they go, in formation, the 3 Bunsu Hondas. And one good thing about the drama that was suffered by Kip yesterday, spending most of his time in the pits having an oil leak fixed, was that we got to see the rest of the team at work, and my goodness, they did well, because he came off the circuit with a smoking bike. We got a nice close-up of the oil pan coming off, full of oil, and they managed somehow to put it all back together and get him out in time for him to put in a killer lap and take pole position. So most of the drama, it had to be said, was in the pits in yesterday's qualifying session. Just taking a look there at Gary Salim, familiar green helmet. He was of course in ASB 1000 last year. He's come back to Supersport 600s for this year, and he finished 5th, just behind Kito Abe yesterday. So a good debut, or re-debut you might call it, in 600s for Gary Salim yesterday. It was certainly him and Kito Abe that, of the newcomers, that caught my personal attention. Lots of new riders, new blood in this class, and there's one I just wanted to talk about, and that is the 2022 AP250 champion, Andy Mohammed Fadli, taking the step up to the much bigger engine machines here. He had a decent debut until he crashed, but during testing and qualifying you could see him making progress. He had a crash yesterday in the race, so a DNF for him first time around, but Andy Fadli will continue getting to grips with these machines and improve progressively, no doubt. On screen there is Ratapong Willarot, who looked very promising yesterday. Faded unfortunately at the end to finish 7th, but he did look quick in practice and qualifying, and it did look like he was going to make a return and threaten the podium. Early in the race it looked as though that could happen, but he did drop back. These conditions are very hot, and depending on tyre choices and tyre wear, and to an extent rider wear, but these guys have all been training very hard during the off-season. And let's check in at the timing screens now. Best time so far 39.3, so that's a very decent pace for Panasson Kaosanti. Panasson, another non-finisher yesterday, but quick. If you haven't caught up with the news, like we were used to seeing Krichapon Kaosanti last year, it is the same rider, but he changed his name from Krichapon to Panasson. So that's a little footnote for him, the Thai Honda rider. Gary Salim, good lap time from him, 39.3. And I think that will have been quicker than he put in yesterday. Yeah, considerably quicker in the race, definitely quicker than his qualifying time, but his best lap was 39.9 during the race. So promising warm-up performance there from Gary Salim. Panasson still going quickly out there, and there he is, number 15 for Honda Racing Thailand. Alone at the moment, but really trying something out and getting some good pace here. 39.3 is faster than anybody clocked in the race. Against that, we have to say the conditions are cooler right now at just coming up to 10 o'clock. And what do I mean by cooler? It's 31 degrees now, and we're expecting the temperature to rise to 39 today. So the track temperature out there, it's had the sun on it for a while, but it won't be as high as it will reach in the next couple of hours, where it'll probably top 60 or 65 degrees. And if you get anywhere near the track surface, you can feel it coming off the heat that these riders are subjected to from the circuit, from the engine. It's not conditions in which you want to spend too much time in a slipstream. But there is Panasson coming in to complete another lap. This looks like another good pace for him on this one. Indeed it was, 139.1. So his best lap as we go back to the three Bunsu Honda riders. Kip still is leading the way. Helmi Asman crossed the line second there, and Azroy behind him. They just missed the opportunity to get another lap in. There is Soichiro Minamoto, the Japanese Gen Blue rider. We've seen him here before, and it's good to see him back again. Many of you will remember him from this race at Suzuka in 2019, when he took a P3 and a P1. P1 in wet conditions there at Suzuka. We had a typhoon that day. So Panasson tops the session with that 139.187 and goes to the practice start, which is just down the straight a little way from turn 3. So you'll see a few riders congregating there to do a practice start. Their last opportunity to do so before business time this afternoon in race 2. Let's take a look at the results then. Confirmed, Panasson T 139.187. Surprisingly quick warm-up performance from him. Gary Salim, nice time from him, he's making progress, 139.377. Karalidin Paui, unbeatable so far this weekend, 139.4, he's third. Helmi Asman, his teammate, fourth. Macarena Tirapuvapat, second yesterday, in fifth place. Sixth, Azroy Hakim Anwar. Seventh, Soichiro Minimamoto, he did at 139.7. And eighth, Adananta Putra, another of the class debutants, 139.8. And finishing ninth, another very distinguished newcomer, Andy Mohamed Fadli for Yamaha Racing Indonesia, 139.9. Kito Abe for 1XOXT KKR was 10th, he was finished in P4 yesterday. Afif Amran 11th, 12th Galang Hendra Pratama, 13th Ratapong Willarot, and 14th Shah Jun Tong, who we saw pull off the circuit earlier, so I think there was no real time showing for him. So as we look at that forbiddingly hot sky with the sun scorching down on the tarmac, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back with a 20-minute warm-up session for the ASB 1000s, and Daniel Bogus will be joining me for that. A lot to talk about, so much drama there. We look forward to sharing that with you in just about 10 minutes from now. We'll see you then. Welcome back to day 3 of round 1 of the Idemitsu FIM Asia Road Racing Championship. We're at Chang International Circuit in the heart of Thailand, the province of Buriram, just outside the city. There's a weather check, no surprise for anybody who's tuned in prior to this. 32 degrees currently. The track will be warming up. It's had the sun on it for a good couple of hours now. And you're joining us for the warm-up session for the ASB 1000 class. And the first rider on your screen, appropriately enough, is yesterday's race winner, Haruki Noguchi. Haruki, who exploded into this series as a rookie exactly 1 year ago, and was leading the championship up until the final round, which he missed because of a serious back injury, and arguably lost the championship because of that. But he's been recovering during the closed season, back up to pretty close to full fitness, and we saw a really determined race from him yesterday. The worst part of his race was actually the start, which put him back to about 5th place off the line. Probably the worst start I've seen him do in ASB 1000. But he recovered and hunted down Zakwan Zaidi, who led from the start and was looking really good for the win, right up until we got to the last sector. Really, it was in the last sector that Haruki Noguchi, last sector, last lap, and into the last corner, which you can see him going around now. He got that last sector and turned 12 absolutely perfectly to win by a deceptively large margin of almost 0.7 of a second. So that was one comeback story from Haruki Noguchi. Everybody was delighted to see him back, but wasn't sure what he could do. But he looked competitive in practice and in the official test earlier in the week. But we know Haruki Noguchi well enough to know that he always comes up with something special for Sundays, and indeed he did that yesterday. It was a really strong performance that I described as he stood on the podium as indomitable. I think that it's a fair word to describe his spirit, and he's on track there with Marcus Reiterberger, who also looked like a potential winner for much of the race yesterday before falling back. Daniel Bogus has just joined me. Daniel, I was just saying that Haruki's winning margin yesterday of 0.7 of a second, I was just looking at the sector times, because it seemed to me that it wasn't all about the last corner, it was about the final sector. He got that absolutely beautifully, so he wasn't actually under threat at turn 12.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was the same in qualifying when we saw Zakwan's qualifying lap. It was the same thing. He was just okay throughout the first 2 sectors, but that last sector was inch perfect, and yeah, he just got a better lap time with that. And we see the same with Haruki. He's just got that final sector perfectly. And I was discussing with our media team, and we were all looking at one thing about Haruki, which is his mid-corner speed. The point where he opens the gas again is just way earlier than the rest, and he just gets that much extra drive, and that's what helps him really throughout the last sector.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. Electronics must have quite a bit to do with that. But we know the SDG team are an incredibly good one at preparing fast motorcycles. But that's a really interesting point to take away. It certainly gave Zakwan Zaidi something to think about. He did scamper away at the beginning of the race, but it was never likely that he would sustain that, I think. And I think he thought that too. Well, maybe it will happen, maybe it won't, but I think he knew he was going to have a fight on his hands.
Yeah, and apart from it, he was saying that the strategy didn't really work, but I would say it wasn't a bad result. I think he was just hoping that he would be able to pull away early on. and I guess it didn't really work out for him. So it's a new day today, second chance, and we can say the same for the likes of Marcus Ratterberger. It just seemed like it wasn't happening for him. He kept on, I think he overshot at the final turn 3 times, I think.
Right. Yeah, because Marcus has been really fast in the pre-season test and really fast all the way through practice as well. It was Zach Kwan who took pole position, but we did expect Marcus to be fighting for the win. He will have taken stock, and I would expect him to be a little closer this time around. But what we haven't mentioned yet is another incredible story from yesterday about Aslan Shah, who, of course, we know is well known, had a bitterly disappointing season in 2022. The BMW never really got on the pace, but from the time he got on the new bike from official test, he looked much more competitive. He was up there with the fast times, and then bad luck struck in qualifying. Looked like something wrong with the connection between the throttle, and he didn't even get a lap in. So he started from the back of the grid and fought his way up. We knew he'd fight his way up, provided the bike was working, and it was, and he just kept coming forward, and did actually work his way into the lead at one stage. We talk about Haruki's comeback, but this was a really welcome comeback for Aslan Shah too.
Yeah, that was honestly one of the best performances I've seen from any racer at all. The way that he just fought his way up, because at one point he seemed stuck below the top 5, and you would think that, okay, perhaps he's used too much of his tires or too much energy, so you wouldn't think that he would make it into the top 3, and then suddenly he just started reeling the rest in halfway through in the second half of the race. And it was amazing because he was leading for a while at one point. It was just at that last lap that he couldn't hold it, and Haruki just managed to take advantage of his strong sector and ultimately won the race.
Yeah, he was almost half a second quicker through that final sector than Aslan, and that's really what did it. But it was a fantastic comeback after a fallow spell for Aslan. We knew he was capable of something more. It was frustrating for us in the commentary box not to have more to talk about with Aslan last season, but he gave us plenty to talk about, plenty to think about, and it was in many ways it was an emotional race, because there were 2 comebacks from 2 really great racers.
Yes, the moods are definitely lifted after yesterday's performance. Yeah, even Zakwan, even though I'm sure he's a bit disappointed that he didn't get the win, but he still seemed very positive. He was very happy with how everything was going. Yeah, I think it's really good attitudes going around.
Yeah, we saw him fighting the bike a lot of the time last season. That's not happening now. He's riding it quite loose, but he looks really happy on it. And talking about happy, here's Andy Fridis de Hart, possibly the happiest man in the paddock.
Definitely the happiest of all.
But really so pleased to be up into the Superbike class after taking the Supersport 600 title last year. He can't say enough good things about how excited he is, how much he loves the bike and the team and the electronics and the power and all of that good stuff that he's got on the Superbike. He's really got hold of it and is making a great job. Finishing position yesterday was 5th, 3 seconds off the winner, but I thought that was a really good debut for him.
Yeah, I mean, to be a rookie in this class and to be constantly up there with the top 5 is not an easy feat, and he's been close to them. Even in the qualifying thing, he was only 0.3 or 0.4 seconds off the top, and he has been that way all throughout tests and even in practice. Just been absolutely superb throughout the weekend.
Yeah, he has, and we should give a shout out for the young Australian on screen now, Lachlan Epis. He's riding for the Evolution, beg their pardon, Sport Group on BMW, as you can see, and good debut from him. He hasn't been to Chang International before this week. Here he is. He did well in practice. He was progressively bringing his lap times down, doing a really good professional job. He did crash out in the race, but I think so far what we've seen of Lachlan Epis holds great promise for the rest of the season.
Yeah, all things considered, to be within 2 seconds of the top, I think it was in qualifying, it's only 1.8 seconds away, more or less, and yeah, he was just really up with there with some of the fastest riders in this region. So definitely a great debut weekend for Lachlan.
Yeah, the bike looks good. We see him there running looks like a medium front and a soft rear.
I was going to say, I think he's the only BMW that we've seen this weekend running that combo, because Marcus and Aslan and Althbard have been using the hard front, soft rear.
Yeah, he used medium in the race yesterday.
Oh yeah, again, something very different.
Yeah, well, warm-up's the time to try it.
And Aslan going hard medium the rear. I think that's due to the heat, definitely, because it seemed to be the favorable option for the 1XX team, but I think considering the heat, the soft would just get chewed up by the end of the race.
Yeah. So most of I think all the Hondas except for Haruki ran medium. Haruki had a hard front.
The only ones running the soft rear were Kenneth Kubo and Teoyu Joe. So it's an interesting mix of tire choices that we've had.
Yeah. There's not much of a pattern to pick out of that, was there really? Just riders, teams trying to make the best of the scorchingly hot conditions. Because the race scheduled this afternoon is for 15:45, so the track will have had, 8 hours of sun on it by that point, and the temperature is going to be above 65 degrees probably, and just really difficult conditions. It's Kazma Daniel. He hasn't been able to continue the form with which we saw him complete the 2022 season. It's basically setup issues. Have you discovered anything new from him, Daniel?
No, I haven't managed to catch Kazma actually in pit lane. He's always been a bit hidden this weekend, and he seems a bit stressed out, looking at the way when he got off the bike and such. It's not the usual cheerful character we're seeing. I think perhaps last season was still fresh for him, so I thought just do whatever the best I can. But now this season, he looks like he's more in the state where he's the kind where he wants a championship. He really thinks he has a shot at it, and these performances just really aren't matching his optimism.
Yeah, he should be a contender. I ran into him on Thursday, I think it was, or possibly Wednesday. Anyway, he was saying then it was setup issues. They tried a new frame, they put the old frame back in, but they haven't got the base set up really where they need it. We know what this Gen Blue team is capable of. They've got, as you say, Kenneth Kubo in there. He's listed as a Thai rider. He's half Japanese, so we're never quite sure what to call him. He speaks good English as well.
Yeah, it does.
Of course, having spent the season in Moto 2, that always seems to be a pretty effective language school as well.
The interesting thing that I also noticed yesterday was the top speed differences. For now, we can see definitely that the BMWs have that extra edge. The Hondas are not too far, but the Yamahas are really lacking in that department. Like even right now in the morning, we can see that Kazma stopped out at 288, Kenneth Kubo 287, whereas you see Aslan 300, Andy Farid 300, Marcus 296, Haruki 294. So he's missing a bit of that top end.
Yeah, you could see it a little bit yesterday on the straight to Aslan's advantage. Once or twice, you could just see a little bit of a difference there. It's Paswat Titiwararak. I would say that was a disappointing performance from him yesterday. He had a decent rookie season. He got quicker and quicker and was performing really well by the end of the season. However, he was 6.7 seconds off the winner. So we need to see a little bit more from him. He's at that stage in his career. Okay, got the rookie season under your belt. Now it's time for the results. So hopefully he'll get what he needs for today's race. Marcus is sitting at the top there with a 1:35.581. That's in these cooler conditions, that's a faster time than we saw from anybody during the race yesterday.
Yeah, it's impressive though. In the warm-up so far, we have 4 riders below the 1:36. Definitely Haruki and Zakon trying to pick up the pace as well to keep up with the 2 BMWs.
Yeah. There's a Thai rider there for EST NJT, Jakrit Swangsoat. Very experienced racer. Many people will remember another experienced Thai racer that this team put into round 5 last year at Chang International, Suatai Chemsap, who went out on slicks on a drying track and won the race sensationally. I saw him yesterday as you were doing your grid walk, Daniel. Chemsap was standing behind holding the umbrella for Jakrit with a cheeky smile on his face, which is very much his character.
Yeah, those positive auras that really bring up the moods of riders in championships. Speaking of positive, what is positive for Jakrit is the timing. I would say that it's not too far. All this weekend it's been below 1.5 seconds away from the top. So I think it's just that little bit extra that they need, and they should be able to fight for the podium here and there.
Yeah. Jakrit we've seen in Thailand riding 250 bikes extremely fast for many, many years. But it's good to see him in this championship, and it's good to see what looks like, you know, an emerging privateer team in EST NJT. The bikes look beautiful, don't they? They're easy to pick out on track. They've got those big black numbers on a white background, which is so important, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. It truly is. But yeah, no, they're a team that's expanding, and it's really great to see that. They look like they have great support. They're now competing in the 250, the thousands. It looks like a really well-equipped team, and I think give them another season or 2, and they could be in contention for title fights.
Yeah, and it reflects well on the regulations that teams like his and Evolution Sport can come in and be as close to the teams that have the manufacturer support as they are.
Definitely, because often you would see the so-called big money teams, the factory teams, they would have a gap of maybe 3-4 seconds ahead of the privateers, but you can see like the Nepis and Jakrit Swangsoat, they're within 1.3 seconds of Marcus Reiterberger, and honestly that just means that the regulations have worked perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. So shout out to the people that work so hard on getting those regulations right and keeping them right as well. So Kazma now is on a 36.7. Still only got those 4 riders. Yesterday's first 4 finishers in the 135s. With the camera focusing on Marcus Reiterberger, the German, who's been with BMW forever as far as I can recall. It's certainly at least 7 years, because we saw him on a BMW in World Superbike back in 2016, and he wasn't a newcomer to BMW back then. So another lap for him. The checkered flag is out, so he's done. So a good session for him. Haruki comes through to complete his warm-up session. He's going to stay in P4 for what it's worth. Best time for Haruki, 1:35.992. Zaklan finishes on 1:36.2 in P2. Aslan Shah is already in the pit, having done a 1:35.8. So, first 3 finishes yesterday looking good. The man in P4 from yesterday looking like he's going to try to do something, take a step up this afternoon.
Well, it's a lot better practice start than yesterday's, where it bogged down a bit for him. So looking like Marcus is going to be on a mission from the start of the race.
Yeah, Haruki Noguchi's, the worst part of Haruki's race was his start as well.
Yeah. He did have to fight his way up a bit. But ultimately, Haruki is very talented, and we've seen countless number of times what he is capable of doing.
Yeah, it's that combination of skill and determination, fitness, all of that. So, there are the official results. Marcus Reiterberger, 1:35.581 in these coolish conditions, relatively cool conditions here. Ahead of Zakwan Zaidi, Aslan Shah Camaruzzaman, P3, and Haruki Noguchi 4th. All of those riders under 1:36. Andy Farid is the best of the rest, 1:36.1, ahead of Pasuit Titiwararak for Astimo S1 Racing with Thai Honda. Kasper Daniel Kazmayuddin was 7th, and Jackrit Swangsawat for EST NJT was 8th. Lachlan Epis 9th, 1:36.9 for him. Kevin Kubo for Yamaha Gen Blue, 1:36.955. And West, 1:38.89. And Tio Yujo, who we didn't see on screen that time, but a good deal slower, 1:47.239. Which brings us to the end of the warm-up sessions. What you'll see on your screens next, if you stay with us, is Honda Thailand Talent Cup Race 2, which will be run over 15 laps. That's always good. They run the Honda 250 NSF machines, very evenly matched, and always highly competitive. Some of the best young riders from Thailand and beyond.